Okay, we're going to do Schluter 101. Christie, take it away.
All right. So everybody should have the new Schluter price book. This is what the 2017 price book looks like. Everything in here is priced at retail, and your discount is 40% off of retail. This should be the best discount that you get from anybody.
Okay.
Also keep in mind that Florida Tile stocks more profiles than anybody else in Dallas, so we have them readily available. So this book can feel like it's very complicated, but it's really not. Once you just kind of take a second to look at it and understand it, it really is very easy to look up products and to have as a guide. So in the very first page is your index, of course, always. If you're looking for a dialects piece or a Ditra, everything is organized in alphabetical order. So it makes it really easy to say, okay, I know I need a dialect. I don't really know what that means, but here are all of my dialects, so I know I can go to that section. So that's just a really easy guide. If you need something a little bit more visual, you do have the next index page is done by pictures. So each section is showing you exactly what that piece does. So it makes it really easy. One of the suggestions that I like to make to people is to start off with your profiles, the profiles that we use for edging for the walls and for our soapboxes. Those are going to be the most common things that homeowners ask for, and they're really the easiest to work with. So if you look in this photograph section, you'll see that it's identified by a yellow tab up here. So all of our profiles, our jollies, our quadecs, our rondecs are all going to be in our yellow section. So we're going to turn over to the yellow section. The edge of the book, you can see, has the tabs, real easy to identify how to get there. Once you get into the sections, especially for the profiles, you have these columns with these codes in them. Again, these codes are really easy to read if you just take a second to look at it. So our first column here has a bunch of numbers. Those are in millimeters, so we don't really care about those numbers. You can just completely ignore them. The next column is in inches. So this is going to be really what we're referring to. This inches is referring to the thickness of the tile that you're working with. So for example, traditionally, if you have a wall tile, it's going to be a 5/16. If you have a floor tile, it's going to be a 3/8. Normally, that's going to be where you stay. If you're not sure how to measure your thickness, there is this cool little plastic thing that looks like it's worthless. This is how you measure the thickness of a tile. So if you're questioning it, you can take this and you just slide it onto the tile, and it'll tell you what thickness this is. So
Awesome.
This is a 3/8. And these are things that I can get for you if you don't have. Again, we just have to ask for them, and then the Schluter reps will send them to us, and so I can get these to everybody. They're really cool little devices. So whenever we're working with a 3/8 tile, we're then going to go into the next section. 3/8 tile always will be a 100. These numbers here in the middle refer to the thickness of the tiles.
Okay.
Normally, you're always going to be in a 100 or an 80. The 80 is for a 5/16. So just feel comfortable with those, knowing that you're going to start to hear those a lot. So this column is really the item number and how we're identifying everything that we need to know.
Okay.
So your first column, your first set of letters is going to refer to the name of the product. Now, these letters don't always line up with the name. So for example, this is for A for a jolly. Well, there's not an A in jolly, so why does it say A? I don't know. This is a German company, and so the words are not our own, so it's not always going to make sense to us. But you can just learn jolly is A.
Sure.
Always. It's really easy. So knowing that we're looking for a jolly piece, which is going to be your bullnose substitution, so that's this edging here. You're going to go A. I know that I need one that's 3/8 thick, so I'm going to go 100. And I want it to be this color, which is the dark, of course I have to pick a hard word, anthracite finish.
Okay.
And so the coding for that is always on the piece. As a matter of fact, the whole part number is on the piece. But these last 4 letters here is the coding for that specific color. And then it also tells you in this box here your color codes.
Awesome.
So if you know you need a dolly piece and you know the thickness and you know you want it in this color, then you know your part number is going to be A100 and then TSB, because that's this color. So it's really easy to put those together. All of your profile pieces are always going to be 8 foot long, no matter which profile it is. So it's really easy. Just sit down, take a minute to look through the book, pick up a couple of these sets, find a piece, look it up, find it in the book, and find the pricing, and you'll get familiar with it pretty easily.
Cool. And you say everybody should have one of these?
Yes. These cans that you're seeing are a part of their Treadline series. So it's showing your colors for your more traditional colors, which they just came out with. They actually just revised them. One of the objections to Schluter has always been that the profiles are traditionally this kind of metal looking, like a brushed aluminum or just a really shiny metal piece. And they now have the Treadline series, which are going to be your more traditional colors, your Tuscan finishes, pewters, even some of these nice kind of taupey creamy colors and things like that. That's what's going to be in these cans here. Make sure to hold on to these because they're not easy to get. And so I'll make sure each location has one. Just don't lose it. Florida Tile also stocks all of these colors as well, which nobody else does in Dallas.
Cool.
So.
And what's the Florida Tile phone number locally in Dallas?
It is 972.
What,
I don't ever call myself.
What is your cell phone
So
number?
you guys can just call me. My number is 817-201-1646.
Awesome. Thanks.